Here's a story from the LAist. Newsom says Trump is rigging the election with federal poll monitors. Okay.
Dude, he's cheating by not letting us cheat.
Exactly. My question is, what about a DOJ monitor watching what you do is rigging the election?
They're like, Trump is going to allow voters to rig the election.
What Newsom is basically saying is the simple act of observing what he does will change the outcome of the election in some way, that it is rigging the election. So what's happening is the DOJ is sending to California and to New Jersey election monitors. It is a standard thing the DOJ has done for decades, and Democrats are now freaking out about it. Because guess what? If Trump is monitoring these elections, how much you want to bet Republicans win?
Yep. Well, this is one of those hilarious things. This is one of those issues where you just have to point to the left and say, I know y'all love to pretend that everyone in Europe does things the way that you want them done, and they all agree with you, and they think us conservatives are super silly. But, like, if you tell a European that there's an entire political faction in the United States that thinks it's wrong to have people show IDs to vote, they look at you like your head's on sideways. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what? There's people who think you shouldn't have to show an ID to vote. No one else in the world gets upset about the prospect of someone having to show identification in order to vote.
Yeah, well, they did this with the Dominion voting machines where they're like, these are impossible to rig. These are completely bulletproof. And then a guy that was like vaguely associated with the GOP bought it like 2 weeks ago. And they're like, he's going to rig them. He's going to. Like, whoa, what just happened? Like years of gaslighting. So, yeah.
And Newsom's the same guy who said all those fires were because of climate change. And lo and behold, it was arson.
Correct.
Words mean nothing to this guy.
Exactly.
So
it's Schrodinger's poll monitor. You know, like the election exists in a vacuum and it's perfect until you look at it,
and then Trump won.
Until you look at it, and then you are rigging it by the very act of observing it.
You combine this. So what I was saying earlier this morning with this story is that Trump wants federal law enforcement in these jurisdictions because ultimately it's going to come down to the election. They're not going to be able to dump 500 ballots at 2 a.m. if there's a CBP guy or a DHS guy standing there. I think this is going to be Trump's play in the midterms. Democrats know this. That's why he's saying they're rigging it. Newsom knows that they can't have their ballot harvester show up with 300 ballots and dump them all at once if even a single person is at these locations. So the theory now is cut off SNAP benefits, you get food riots, Trump can invoke the Insurrection Act and dispatch federal law enforcement, and he can say he's going to go on a temporary basis until we can stabilize following these riots, and he's going to say for a 12-month term, which is perfectly just before the election.
Yeah, owning the left by just observing their
behavior. He says we will be invoking the Trump can come out. I'm not saying he will, but he could come out and say, I know there are concerns about the overreach of executive authority. That is why I am issuing this order, a 1-year term, just to get a hold on the crime and the riots we've been seeing, of which then the order will expire and National Guard will return to their normal duties. This is showing the good faith of the people that is, I'm not going to keep this permanent, but it gives Trump that perfect amount of time just before the election, because this will be during early elections, or during early voting, where they will have National Guard in and around these places to protect them.
Wouldn't it be never trust when the government says we have a deadline on this?
Yeah.
You know, they're like, because they never really have a deadline.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if with federal poll monitoring, like every single county in California just went deep red? It's just the reddest red state imaginable.
And just put ice outside too.
The voter registration data in California doesn't support that. There's 4.5 million more registered Democrats.
No, I'm kidding.
Republicans,
I was making a joke.
It would shift.
Yeah, I'm making a joke.
There are actually people out there who just think there's so much cheating in California that if you eliminate it all, somehow the state would become Republican.
No,
that's not correct.
I don't think so. They also give amnesty to a lot of illegals.
Places in it would become redder, and you would definitely have things at the local level that would flip, but the state level, not yet.
No, for sure.
Not yet.
For sure.
It's like in New York, the city ruins it for the rest of the state, and a lot of that state is red.
Well,
and the city is obviously crazy.
It's most blue states.
And I love that city.
It's most blue states.
But like in California, and then New York City is a great example too. It's like the voter base that elected Giuliani, the voter base that elected all these Republican governors in California, some of them moved out, but a lot of them didn't go anywhere. It's that they imported a new voting class to like basically outvote them.
Yeah.
And it was done through amnesty, but it was done through the generic immigration system as is. Like New York, all these people voting for Vimdani, they followed the rules. They came. They can vote legally. Like they didn't pull any gimmicks. It's just they're allowed here. Now they vote, and now they outvote you.
The city got a Giuliani because the city was so bad. It was
but even if the city got worse than it was pre-Giuliani, they will never vote for a Republican because Mamdani reflects the new class of people that have moved into Queens, that have moved into the Bronx.
Until they get a full dose of it and it doesn't turn out.
I don't think
there's like, what are they going to say? Oh, we just need better socialism?
But the difference between, I agree.
Maybe.
In principle, I would hope so. But I think the difference between Mamdani and previous Democrats is a lot of people are voting for Mamdani out of ethnic allegiance that we didn't see with Democrats in the past, that we didn't see with your Lindsays and your Kochs and that sort of thing. And we haven't dealt with that in the United States before. We haven't dealt with ethnic voting blocks. We see it with Ilhan Omar. Like, do you think people in Minneapolis just really like Ilhan Omar? No, it's like she represents me. She represents me as a Somali. So it's like, yeah, if you voted out Ilhan Omar, they would just vote in another Ilhan Omar, with just a different name, because it's like you imported a new group of people here that you just can't compete with that. You can't compete with an ethnic voting block.
Yeah, I will say there is a decent size of people who are either Republican, independent, or old school liberal like Trump from the city who hate all this stuff, and a lot of them work in the unions, and they disagree with the unions. But like when you're working the hotels and different types of unions in the city, the problem with that is the union is kind of like a mob.
Yeah,
and they really try to get you to vote a certain way, which is also insane.
Yeah, well, you have the upper end where you get the buyer's remorse. Like Bill Ackman is like trying to rally this huge support for Cuomo to go against Mamdani, and I'm like, dude, this is your fault. You funded Democrats for decades. Yep. It's like, great, you're on the team now, but where were you 20, 30 years ago when we were saying like, hey, you're going to get us killed?
The Republican influencer pivot to Cuomo is disgusting, and all those people should be shunned. Yeah. That guy is a psychopath.
Cuomo should drop out and get by. Actually, there is numbers to support that Sliwa would actually perform better against Mamdani anyway, because he's actually he actually taps into something that New Yorkers are feeling.
Yep. And he's a liberal.
But there is that.
Yeah, I mean, Sliwa's not even great anyway, but it's like, Cuomo.
He is the lesser evil, though.
He's a lesser evil, and Cuomo's just such a nasty guy that it's like you really have to bind your conscience and plug your nose.
Sliwa's taking bullets for that city.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy stuff. His story is pretty wild.
Yeah.
He also says a lot of things that I think he's pandering to his more left-leaning crowd.
Sliwa has some bad positions, but there's no question that he's dedicated his life to the city, and I think most native New Yorkers that didn't just show up yesterday identify with Sliwa in a lot of ways.
Oh, for sure. For sure. In terms of also getting shot at.
Yeah. In terms of interesting fashion choices. So, I don't know. Maybe if Cuomo throws a beret on, maybe we'll see what happens.
Yep.
I think there's a very strong probability that come the midterms, there's going to be federal law enforcement or National Guard outside of polling stations. The Trump circle is way too paranoid about stolen elections and ballot harvesting, especially with the Dinesh D'Souza's, what was it, 1,000 mules or
1,000 mules or whatever.
Mules, that they're going to say, look, we don't got to do anything other than just have one guy outside a polling station watching a ballot box, making sure nobody's going and dumping ballots.
I think it should also be a holiday. Just let it.
Democrats will win, but I agree.
You think? I mean, if we have ICE and a security out there?
Actually, no, I think you're right. I think actually Republicans will benefit more so. I used to think
they work.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, Republicans have
Democrats
jobs.
don't. Yeah, so get rid of mail-in voting and make it a holiday, and you're probably going to get more Republicans to vote.
Gotta do it in person. Gotta happen on just one day.
And
ballot harvesting,
not just an ID, but full body cavity search.
Okay, China.
Wait, what did you say? What was that?
Not just voter ID, but full body cavity search.
Yeah,
not for me.
Liberals would win every time.
Well, yeah, now they'll show up.
San Francisco would have 100% voting.
Newsom will be right there.
Yeah.
It's like, sir, you can't vote twice.
Sir, we have oil provided. We don't need to.
Diddy shows up and is like, I'll help out.
I'm ready to do a voter drive. Voter drive at my house, guys.
Yeah, but
San Francisco polling will mean something different.
Look at us, we're funny guys, huh?
Yeah. That's the October surprise. Whoa.
It's gonna get crazy. But again, with all of that being said, it would be the biggest happening of happenings if they allow SNAP to expire.
True.
Like in terms of chaos in the streets, government, in just bedlam.
I hate to be like the Debbie Downer, but I genuinely think that, look, the Trump obviously could call in a few favors from the private sector, and the private sector has a huge incentive to keep SNAP going. I really do think that we'll see some sort of coordination if this really comes down to the wire, where they will step in, they will throw some money on the table just to get it to get it past the finish line, beat that deadline. Because, I mean, it would just, like you're saying with the numbers, I mean, Kroger would be cooked without EBT, SNAP, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't think they're going to go down like that. Like they'll just chuck a couple $100 million out. I don't think they have any problems doing that.
It's going to get crazy. Look, if the response to Trump is that in any way to try and secure the elections, he's rigging it, there's no answer. Either we let them rig it or they claim Trump rigs it.
Well, yeah, that was always going to be the game, right?
There's no elections. It's just no matter what happens, nobody believes it now.
Exactly.
And we thought we were going to be here with 24.
Yeah, but
And then Trump won, and they were like, "What?"
Doesn't that mirror every other controversial position out here now, though? I mean, like any topic, there's just people who make up their minds, and no amount of logic or evidence will dissuade them from whatever position they adopt. So we shouldn't be surprised that people are going to look at elections the same way they look at, like, did we land people on the moon? People have made up their minds about that. Mm-hmm. And when we get back to the moon and we fly over those landing sites and we say, look, here they are, and there are the footprints, people are going to say, well, you just set that up in the last 2 years. So, like, people have staked out their positions and they're not going to retreat from them.
I want to give Shane Cashman the floor here.
No. I don't want to hurt Bricksuit's feelings about there being no moon. We do have 2 moons now, actually.
We do.
Two fake moons.
Yeah.
But shout out to Scott Adams. My favorite quote is 2 movies, 1 screen. That's what you're talking about. I mean, we're in alternate reality with this.
Yes.
It's scary.
Yeah, the fact that every single issue now just instantly becomes a wedge issue.
Yeah.
Is so bizarre. Like, I mean, the obvious one was right after Kirk, and it was like, hey, maybe we should stop using language that gets people killed. And then the left was like, well, I don't know. That seems, and it's just like, really? Is there no?
Yeah. Well, when it gets really interesting and really spicy is when you're dealing with issues where there isn't actually like an operating principle or shouldn't be an operating principle. So, for example, when it comes to abortion or homosexuality, transgenderism, these are issues that you're going to have an opinion about the entire issue based on your underlying moral philosophy. But when it comes to, was that cop justified in shooting that guy? That's not a question of your base philosophy. That's like, we have to look and see if there's evidence for that, but just immediately everyone has their mind made up. That's the kind of stuff where it's really freaky, because you go like, all right, this guy could go to jail now because some number of people, including people on the jury, like, will not accept any evidence that he's innocent, because this has become an axiomatic position for them that, like, every time a cop shoots anyone, the cop was wrong.
Seamus, what you just said has nuance, and that is racist.
Which is also racist. That's true. You're right.
Until body cams came out. Boy, that boomerang on that whole...
Dude, I know, and it's hilarious.
Nobody thought that we'd be having, like, vindication of law enforcement on the regular from body cams.
I a little bit did, but yes, you're totally right, because they destroyed their movement with that. They were like, yes, if we just put body cams on them, we'd see that police officers just want to go up to innocent, unarmed people and shoot them for no reason. And then that obviously turned out to not be true, and now people are going like, it was actually a racist policy to start putting cameras on police. I'm not kidding. I've heard people make this argument.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.